The other day, a fellow asked me what I considered to be a very irritating, aggravating question, which quite honestly was none of his business. He said, "Did you quit drinking?" Because, you see, I used to engage in a lot of abusive behavior when it comes to drinking. And this fellow hangs out at a local convenience store because apparently he has nothing else to do and watches people come and go. And a few years ago, I used to buy a lot more alcohol than I did now. I used to drink a lot more than I do now. And since that time, I've cut that back drastically and also began walking about a mile a day to improve my health, cutting back on some sugar and doing some other things to improve my health. And he's noticed these things. And so he thought it was his place to ask me if I had quit drinking the other day. I said, no, not at all. Of course not. I didn't quit drinking. I became a moderate. I repeat, I became a moderate. After years of abusive behavior with regard to alcohol, I decided that it was time to straighten some things up. And so instead of an extreme abusive user, I became a moderate user. And that was after years of bad behavior. There are people who will try to tell you, especially people in the addiction industry, that that's not possible, that people can't do it. The idea that goes around is people are described as being something called an alcoholic, and there's this nutty idea called once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, and there's an entire industry built on this addiction model, and yet many people can choose moderation, and I myself did so successfully, and successfully enough that a hanger-on at a local convenience store who had nothing better to do than watch people come and go actually asked me if I had quit drinking. No, I don't think the solution to problems is to go from one crazy, idiotic extreme to the other crazy, idiotic extreme, so that either way you just have to be an abnormal person for the rest of your life. First, let's talk about the mechanics of how I did this after years of abuse. Now, no one in the addiction industry is going to tell you to do this, but it worked for me, and it worked very well. I used to be a 12-can a night guy, but things changed in my life where I wasn't going to be able to do that anymore. For one thing, I noticed there were very noticeable effects on my health. I would have hangovers all the time. I gained a lot of weight. I had digestive problems, and I would hear and read stories about people who would just go into cardiac arrest and suddenly die at incredibly young ages, and then their life is over. And I got to thinking, I don't want that to be me, and it very well could be. I mean, who am I kidding? So I started doing certain things, started walking a mile a day, started watching the sugar, started being more balanced about my diet. And I also cut the drinking drastically so that I wasn't doing it every day, and I also wasn't doing it nearly as much, and yet I continue to enjoy adult beverages. And now I really enjoy them, because I don't have hangovers and I don't stay drunk all day the next day. I feel good when I get up in the morning because I didn't go too far with the alcohol last night, so I get up sometimes early in the morning feeling great. In my abuse days, I would get up feeling lousy with a terrible hangover. But I'm able to moderate, and this is after years of abuse. I made the change. Now, physically, this is how I did it. You know, because your body does get used to certain substances. I was a 12-can a night guy, and so the way that I did this, once I realized that I was going to have to do it to possibly save my life and also my occupation, because in flying, quite honestly, if you're involved with anything in flying and you get caught flying drunk, the DOT will nail your hide to the wall. The same is true of commercial truck drivers, and they may not be the only ones, because all laws apply, and drunk driving is something that you never ever want to get involved with, and I never have gotten involved with it, although I know some people who have, and they've suffered greatly for it. The physical aspect was, I was a 12-can a night guy, 12-bottle night guy. Then the next night it was 11. Then the next night it was 10. Then the next night it was 9. And then the next night it was 8. And I'm cutting down slowly, giving my body time to adjust, withdrawing the alcohol slowly. Well, it worked. And physically, that's the thing that did it. But you know, there's also psychological aspects as far as whether we use or abuse alcohol. One of the biggest things that alcohol abusers do, one of the biggest mistakes they make, is they forget how to enjoy their lives. They forget how to have fun. Now think back, when you were a kid, what did you enjoy doing? What did you do for fun? You know, there's no reason you can't do some of those very same things as an adult. Why can't you, as an adult, enjoy a lot of things that you did as a kid? Now think about it, you know, maybe trips to the zoo, days at the beach, biking in the park, going to a carnival, movie nights, parties without people getting drunk. What did you do as a kid to have fun? You know, as adults, we lose that a lot of times. We get caught up in adult frustrations and adult problems, and we use something for medication to help deal with the stress, and it does help to a certain extent. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't help, because it does, but when you abuse it, then you get into all kinds of physical and other problems. But one of the biggest mistakes abusers make is they forget how to enjoy life. They forget how to have fun. Start doing things for fun again. There's a certain amount of truth to this idea that you're only as old as you feel. I mean, you don't have to turn into a dried up, you know, stick in the mud type person just because you're older. Now, I don't intend to ever lose completely my youth, and I think that is an attitude that a lot more people need to develop. So what do I do for a good time? Well, I'll go to the movies. I'll go to the beach. I'll spend a day at the park. You know, I'll go to the zoo. Go sailing maybe a little bit. Play poker. You can't be a good poker player and be drunk, not if you plan on winning. I'm a big reader. I read a lot of literature. You know what? You can't read a lot and understand what you're getting if you're drunk. I'm attempting to become a musician, to teach myself to play the piano. I wish I had more success than I'm having with that, because reading music is a bit of a struggle, but you definitely can't do it buzzed. So realize that there are other ways that you can enjoy your life, and then set about doing those things. Enjoy your life. Have fun. That's very, very important, and it's something that abusers lose. And get yourself involved in different activities. Like I said, I'm trying to become a good musician. I'm also trying to write a book right now. I can't write a book drunk. Definitely can't do that. As I said, I'm a big reader. I do a lot of that. I listen to great music. I go places. I do things. I have fun, and that helps with a lot of the stress. Just going out and having fun, like you did when you were a kid. Just have fun. You can get rid of a lot of the stress that way, and I highly recommend it. And these are things that can help you get control of your life. Now, with the addiction industry and people who advocate 12-step programs and total sobriety and all that, they say that the first step in that 12-step process is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol. Now, come on. Do you really want to be powerless over something? I'm not going to tell you that you can take control of every aspect of your life, because there are many things in this life that we don't have a lot of control over. But I personally believe, and it's my experience, that alcohol is one that you can control. And before you tell yourself you can't do it, just remember, take a look at some of the things that people do achieve in their lives. People are capable of incredible things if they commit themselves to it. And with regard to moderating your alcohol abuse, it has to be something that you want. You have to be committed to it. And when people are truly committed and focused, they can accomplish great things. Think of the Olympics and the people who stand on those stages and get the gold and silver medals. Do you think they got there by saying that they didn't have any control over anything and that they couldn't do certain things? No, that couldn't be part of their thinking. They had to be totally committed to the goal. And I once saw the training regimen of Apollo Ono, who was the skating Olympic gold medalist. and he was extremely committed to his goal. He had some long, long days in a particular diet regimen that he stuck to, and a particular training regimen that he stuck to, and he was very successful as a result, and it took the commitment to do it. Successful recording acts have to do the same thing. A lot of times in the process of recording a hit album, they'll have to spend, maybe 14 hours a day working on it, because putting together an album isn't like just slapping something together and put it on YouTube. It's an incredible amount of work. So you need to find ways to release your creative energies. You need to find ways to have fun. This business of having fun, that's a very, very important part of doing this. Learn how to have fun. Learn how to enjoy your life. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, as to the need to drink alcohol all the time, you don't really need to do that. Or I don't really need to do it either. There are healthier options that you can use most days. I'm a big coffee drinker during the week. And there have been a lot of studies done that coffee is a tremendously healthful beverage if you don't overdo it. Now, I did hear of a caffeine overdose a while back, but that involves someone apparently who was drinking these super high-octane energy drinks, and I think you might be able to take caffeine in a solid form. And that was a person who just really went extremely far. A longevity expert that I know of, drinks 9 cups of coffee a day, because there are tremendous benefits with antioxidants. It can help your digestion, and there is even some thought that it can be anti-cancerous. So I enjoy a lot of coffee on days like today. I probably had 4 or 5 cups already this morning, but that is something that I enjoy. I'm also a big fan of Earl Grey tea. Like Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise, he's often seen drinking Earl Grey tea, and I love Earl Grey tea, with honey and lemon. It's a beverage that I can enjoy, and I know I'm doing myself some good, because tea seems to have some enormously healthful properties as well. So have fun, find other things that you can enjoy, incorporate exercise into your life, and find some other productive activities that can help you release some of that pent-up energy and some of that pent-up stress. If you were to want to get involved in martial arts or something similar, that is a great way to have an enormous sense of accomplishment, also to release energy, and after a good match you can just feel incredibly good after it's over. There are all kind of things you can do to promote that natural rush, from boat racing to horse riding to mountain climbing to surfing. There are all kind of ways to sort of release those endorphins and have fun. So I keep talking about that over and over again, because the ability to enjoy your life, the ability to have fun, that's an incredibly important part of the psychological aspects. You also have to understand that with abuse, you are damaging your system enormously, and you are at risk for an early death. So you have to understand that. You have to have fun, and you have to understand that, and you have to do some other proactive things to take care of your health. Exercise is extremely important. I walk a mile a day now. It's important for everyone. Staying hydrated, because people who abuse alcohol get dehydrated, and then most people aren't hydrated enough anyway. That 6 to 8 glasses of water every day, I found, is a great idea. It helps digestion. It helps any number of things. But here's the thing. I did it using some of those same tactics that I just described. And, what does moderate mean? It means probably weekends and holidays, and never going to the point that I'm hungover, but just to a point of relaxation and feeling good the next day. Now, I did that, and I'm living a much more balanced life and a much more healthy life. I have great checkups now, and I really think that if you commit yourself to do it, you can do it too. And there is my take, in brief, on moderation drinking, which I think is a much, much better way than going from one extreme to the other.